Happy Wednesday, happy TGIW, happy new comic book day. Let's get this going. All right, so what did we pick up today? Today was another beefy week. So it is a Marvel On week. In addition to that, um, my shop didn't get their full order of DC books. From what last week, I hear that there was a problem with a lot of shops around with the new distributor and all that. But they did get those. Back popped. They did get those this week, so I have those on top of the books I normally would have gotten. All right, so let us dig in. Venom 26 Beyond starts here. Space Venom, maybe Venom back in space. Haven't seen that since he was attached to Flash and was Space Knight. I don't know. Could be fun. The Immortal Hulk number 35. Immortal Hulk, and this is usually the first book I read whenever it comes out because it's so good, and I just want to consume it. More Amazing Spider-Man. I've heard some people not really liking this arc. I thought it's been fun. I'm not sure what the big problem with it is, but maybe I'm just too much of a Spider-Man fanboy. Batman number 94, so still leading up to Joker War. The relationship shattered. Trouble in Paradise. Aquaman 61. I'm excited to see where this arc goes, and with his half brother Orm thinking that he's being a good guy when he's not. The last issue of Jimmy Olsen number 12. Excited to read this. This has been, again, if there is, if I do a spoiler alert, if I do a best limited series of the year, this wins. It likely doesn't matter what else comes out this year. I do not think that this will be able to be topped. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 106. Again, this book has been fantastic. Star Trek Deep Space Nine. This is a 4-issue limited series. As you know, I get like Star Trek Year 5, and most Star Trek stuff I'll pick up. If there's a original series, a Next Generation, usually not Voyager or many of the others I never really super got into. But Deep Space Nine, I will get. Listen, I am more of a lover than a fighter, but I will fight to the death defending Deep Space Nine. Deep Space Nine, Star Trek, is the best Star Trek, hands down. And I will straight up beat the crap out of you over that. I love Deep Space Nine. I know it's one of those where it doesn't get as much love as the Next Generation. And I get it. I grew up on Next Generation. I love the Next Generation. And I didn't give Deep Space Nine a fair crack when it first came out. But I had gone back. This was years ago, and when it was on streaming, so it's just easy. Like, I'll give it a shot. It's the best Trek. Deep Space Nine is the best Trek, hands down. So if you haven't seen it, or it's been a while since you tried, do it. Guardians of the Galaxy number 4. Fantastic Four number 21. This is an Empire tie-in. And Empire number 1. See what's going on with this. I, Wolverine 2020. So this is a Ironman 2020 tie-in. I'm getting all of those tie-ins, so this was in there. I'm not really sure what this is. Is this... I don't know a lot about Wolverine, but I seem to remember that there was like a Wolverine clone or something, or AI called Albert. And I don't really know anything about that because I never really followed Wolverine. Is that... I guess I'll find out when I read it. But it looks like what I know of Albert. And I only know of Albert from X-Men trading cards from the 90s. Some additional pickups. So this Road to Empire, I missed this. So I figured I should read this sort of prelude or whatever. So I picked that up. I also grabbed, I don't know why this kind of called to me, but Spider-Woman, issue 2 came out today. So I picked that up, but obviously I went back and picked up issue 1 because I hadn't read it. So I thought I'd take a look at this and give it a chance. And it's original Spider-Woman. It's Jessica Drew. So if I like the first 2 issues, I'll add it to the poll. We'll see. And then, I was surprised by this. This was, sometimes you walk into the comic store and you're just not ready for something that you see, and you see it and you're like, yes. Pops of the Warriors. I love the Warriors. This movie is so fantastic. It is first of all, it is a retelling of Homer's The Odyssey. It's there, but it's also just like the 80s nonsense goodness, where there are these over the top sort of gangs in New York, I assume, and there is one of the gang leaders wants to unify all of the gangs, and they gather all the gangs together. So he kind of gives his speech to say, hey, we should all unify. We're fighting each other. It's dumb. Well, he's murdered, and the Warriors are sort of, I don't say framed, but they are accused of being the ones that killed him. So all the gangs are out to try to find the Warriors, and the Warriors are just trying to get back home to Coney Island. It's so good. If you ever watched Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego, the chief is in it as this sort of pirate radio station DJ that sort of narrates what's going on. It's so good. But there were a total of there's 4 of them out there. I just got the 2 that I thought were most important. Swan, who's the leader of the Warriors, and Luther. Luther, who is sort of the main antagonist. I don't know how well you can see it, but the famous scene of the Warriors is Luther sitting in his car where he's put 3 beer bottles on his fingers and he clangs them together and says, "Warriors, come out to play." Yay. He's got I don't know if you can see it. You can kind of see it there. He's got the 3 bottles on his fingers on the pop. Like, I gotta get it. Which, by the way, totally ad-libbed that scene, that Warriors commercial. He just came up with that on the spot. Genius. So I was super excited about that. All right. So last week, it was a good chunk of reading that I had to get through. So I got through Strange Academy number 2. This was great. I got this as an addition. After the 2nd issue, I will go ahead and add it to my poll from now on. Ghost Rider 7, the Battle of the Ghost Riders, and some progress is made in the story, and it's really good. Fantastic Four Empire number 0, again, more prelude to Empire, was also excellent. Dungeons and Dragons Infernal Tides number 4. This is good. Again, the Dungeons and Dragons stuff, it's hit or miss, but it's the stuff that's that's by Zub with in the sort of Forgotten Realms era. In the Forgotten Realms is really good. It's usually when they come out with something else by another writer, it's usually like I just kind of have to get through it. And Marvel's X. Which is also has been really good. We're kind of seeing things come to starting to really move along with this one. A bunch of heroes get together, and yeah, it's so hard to like review books that I read because I don't want to spoil them for anybody. But it's really good. Oh, hey, Wendigo, stop kicking me. All right, and then also read the first volume of Phantoma. This was okay. I mean, I talked in length about Phantoma last week and why I picked this up and my love for the original Phantoma, the Golden Age Phantoma. It was okay. I mean, I think there's a second volume which I'll probably pick up. I think there might only be 2 volumes, so I might as well. It is an interesting take on the character where, you know, she is sort of a protector, in this case particularly of children. But it's, I think, I don't know. If you like the original Phantoma, I think it's, as a study, it's sort of it's interesting to pick up and read. If not, then you're probably okay without it. Let's see. The Dreaming Volume 3. Fantastic. All of your questions are answered from the first parts of this story. And it is just, it's so well written, it's so good, it's so imaginative, it's so interesting. It's like just how do you think up some of this stuff? It's really, really good. And then I read through the first 10 issues of 1990 Namor, which, no surprise, I absolutely loved. Oh, it is so good. And it's not even 90s bad good. It's just good, which really surprised me. And it's a whole new take on Namor. So in the first issue, we find there is a marine biologist who's like obsessed with Namor because he saved him years and years ago, and he figured out kind of what Namor's problem is. As you know, Namor is not the most stable creature. He is given to rage and mood swings and all of this, and this biologist figured out why. He's like, well, you're half human, half Atlantean. Humans need oxygen, obviously, to live, and you know, even without dying, oxygen deprivation has an effect on our brain. And the Atlantean side, oxygen is not good for you. I'm not gonna say it's poisonous, but you're not used to being exposed to oxygen. So the problem is that when he spends a significant amount of time in and away from oxygen, it causes an imbalance in the oxygen level in his blood, which makes him fit to have these rages. So he comes with a device that sort of like gives him a transfusion and balances that oxygen level out. So throughout this, at least so far, like, Namor's like super cool, super calm. Like, he's still arrogant, but he doesn't just like snap into a rage. So much, in fact, that he he buys out a corporation and is running a corporation. It sounds like it wouldn't be fun and an interesting story, but it really, really is. And don't worry, there's still it's not all like boardroom stuff, but it brings up some really interesting scenarios for him to be in. It's written and drawn by Byrne, which is he kills it on both fronts. And man, these covers, like these covers alone, like number one, like that cover's awesome. It's so good. Man, fighting the Griffin at the Statue of Liberty, what a fantastic cover. And you thought that Griffin cover was awesome? Here's Namor crashing into a boardroom riding the Griffin. It's like, that cover is so cool. Just that is really cool. Just the lines and the form that he's taken, the pose that he's taken. It's just It's good stuff. The last one we're getting into, I'm sure you probably reckon, well, maybe you do, maybe you don't. That's the original Human Torch there. So he's entering into it. This is Masterman, so we're getting back to the Nazis that he fought in the Invaders, and I can't wait to read more. It's so good. So speaking of what we're reading, and unfortunately on that front, I won't be able to read as much because of all the new stuff that came out. So I will be reading all the new stuff that came out this week, that and a little bit last week, and maybe a little bit before that with the Road to Empire and the Spider-Woman #1. But I'll be reading through all of that, and I do have to read some Namor just because it's so good, but I got to be careful. I'm limiting myself to 5, just because of all of the new stuff. Again, as always, if I get time, I will read more of this, but that hasn't happened lately, just because there's just so much other stuff going on. I'm kind of struggling to get done what I promised every week. Before I record this, I'm like, oh shoot, I have 3 more issues for last week that I haven't read yet. I'm cramming them in. There's just kind of a lot going on with both with the business, the channel, and just in my personal life as well. So I have to be reasonable there. But speaking of the channel, again, I would like to remind everyone that my plan is to have my first live stream here on Saturday. I'm thinking around 6 p.m. Central Time. We'll see. I still have to figure out how to do it. So I got to make sure I get that done before that time hits. But that's my plan, to go live. And again, it may not be horribly interesting. I'm going to kind of go over how I decide whether I want something to send something off to get graded or not. And it's mostly going to be looking at a spreadsheet and looking up numbers like on different websites and stuff like that. But if that is of interest to you, then please show up. If you just want to hang up just to chat, I'll be interacting with any chat that's there. But again, I'm going to be doing it anyway. I'm going to be sitting in front of the computer. Might as well just flip that camera on and stream it, because it's going to take me a while to do it. But again, this is your formal invitation to show up to that, and I'll post, create a reminder and post something on social media about it too. Probably next couple days or something like that. But that is it. I hope you all have a wonderful Wednesday. I know mine was fantastic. So we'll see you soon, and remember to make yours Titan. This video was brought to you by Titan Comic Pressing. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Titan Comic Pressing LLC.